Did you know that most free-range chicken farmers are losing money every month because of a simple mistake that no one talks about openly? And worst of all, the solution is growing in their own back garden, ignored, thrown away, and stepped on every morning without anyone realizing the treasure it represents. Today, I'm going to show you the secret that completely changed my operation, transforming weak, stressed chickens with irregular production into true egg-laying machines. And all this was something you probably already have at home. Lemon leaves. Stay with me until the end of this video, because I'm going to reveal step by step how to use this simple, cheap, and powerful technique to reach a production of 900 eggs per month with only 30 chickens. That's exactly what you heard. Let me tell you how it all started, because this story isn't just mine. It belongs to many people who have been through the same situation and didn't know what they were doing wrong. A few years ago, I had a flock of 30 free-range chickens that gave me a massive headache. Production was irregular. There were days when I'd collect 12 eggs, days when it would reach 20, but it never went past that. I fed them well, gave them clean water, had a covered coop, and yet the chickens seemed tired, energyless, with dull feathers and behavior that any experienced breeder recognizes immediately. They weren't happy, and a happy chicken is an egg-laying chicken. This isn't just talk. This is biology, animal behavior. It's what any serious study on free-range poultry farming will confirm. Stress destroys production, a compromised immune system destroys production, and the lack of a natural element that these birds need in their diet destroys production. So one day, almost by accident, I started throwing the lemon tree leaves I had pruned into the coop. It wasn't a planned experiment. It was pure laziness, to be honest. I didn't want to carry them to the rubbish and thought, let the chickens play with this. What happened in the following weeks left me completely without an explanation at first. Production started to rise, slowly at first, but it rose. The chickens were more active, more lively, and more eager. The different smell in the coop caught my attention, that fresh citrus aroma we associate with cleanliness. And the chickens seemed to like it. They pecked at the leaves, rolled in them, and fought over the freshest pieces as if they were a delicacy. I looked for information, talked to vets and older breeders, and researched zoo techniques and agronomy sources. And what I discovered made me realize it was no accident. It was nature working the way it's supposed to. Lemon leaves have properties that make a huge difference for bird health. They are rich in compounds like limonene, flavonoids, and essential oils that have antimicrobial, antiparasitic, and anti-inflammatory effects. For a chicken that lives in contact with the soil, exposed to parasites, fungi, and environmental bacteria, this is pure gold. These birds' bodies respond fantastically when they have regular access to these compounds. But that's not all. Lemon leaves work as a natural stress reducer. The citrus aroma has a calming effect on the birds, reduces pecking behavior among them, one of the biggest problems in confined or semi-confined setups, and improves their sleep quality. And when a chicken sleeps well, rests well, and has her stress under control, her reproductive system works at full capacity. Now think with me, 30 chickens, each with the potential to lay 1 egg a day under ideal conditions. That would be 900 eggs in 30 days, but most operations don't get anywhere near that because something is sabotaging that potential. And often this sabotage is silent. It's not a serious disease or a visible problem. It's just a set of small imbalances that, when added up, block production. Lemon leaves come in exactly to correct these imbalances, but it has to be done the right way. And this is where many people mess up. They either use too much, use it incorrectly, or mix it with other things that cancel out the effect. So I'm going to explain exactly how I do it, how I learned to do it, and how you can replicate this in your flock tomorrow morning if you want. The first thing you need to understand is that the lemon leaves must be fresh. Dry, old, yellowed leaves lose most of their essential oils, which are precisely what's responsible for the benefits. When you prune your lemon tree or go to the field, pick branches with green, shiny, fragrant leaves. This is the sign that the active compounds are present in high amounts. You'll spread these leaves inside the coop, especially in the area where the chickens spend most of their time. Put them in the nests, put them in the floor bedding, put them in a corner where they usually lie down. It doesn't have to be an absurd amount. A good handful per chicken, 2 or 3 times a week, already makes a noticeable difference. What happens is that throughout the day, the chickens will step on the leaves, peck them, and rub their bodies against them. The essential oils get onto their skin, they breathe them in, and they remain in the environment. It's a continuous, gentle exposure that builds benefits over time. But there's more. You can also make a simple preparation. Boil some water and put the lemon leaves inside. You don't need to boil the leaves themselves. Just let them steep for a few hours and offer this warm water to the chickens in the trough. Do this once or twice a week. This flavored water goes straight to their digestive system, helping to control intestinal parasites, improving nutrient absorption, and providing immune system support that you will feel in the results. Now, I'm going to tell you something that few people talk about, and that makes all the difference between an average operation and one that truly performs. Egg production doesn't just depend on food and water. It depends on a hormonal state that is directly influenced by the bird's well-being. When a chicken is stressed, whether by overcrowding, excessive noise, conflict with other birds, parasites causing discomfort, or extreme temperatures, her body understands it's not the ideal time to reproduce and production drops. It's a survival mechanism. When you reduce these birds' stress with natural solutions like lemon leaves, you're essentially telling their hormonal system, the environment is safe, you can produce. And they respond. They respond consistently, progressively, and sustainably. I saw this happen in my coop. After 3 weeks of using the leaves regularly, my average production rose from 22 eggs a day to 28. Within a month, it was consistently above 26 a day. And when I adjusted the supplemental feed, which I'll also talk about here, we reached 31 or 32 eggs a day with 30 chickens, 900 plus eggs in a month. Well, that's real, that's possible, and you can get there too. Now about supplemental feeding, because lemon leaves don't work alone. They work better when you build a system, and a system is exactly what successful breeders have. It's not just one isolated technique, it's a set of practices that reinforce each other. Supplement the feed with quality protein, soybean meal, insects, earthworms, or leftover boiled eggs. Yes, chickens eat boiled eggs, and they are an excellent source of high-quality protein for their own production. It sounds strange at first, but it works. Additionally, offer oyster shells or powdered limestone separate from the feed so they can eat it at will. Eggshells need calcium. When calcium is lacking in the diet, the chicken either stops laying or lays soft-shelled eggs. Eggs without a shell that break before they even come out. Also include chopped green vegetables in the diet, kale, chopped banana leaves, fresh grass. These foods provide vitamins that industrial feed often doesn't cover sufficiently. And yes, you can mix chopped lemon leaves directly into the wet feed. Once or twice a week is enough. Always keep the water clean. This seems obvious, but it's where most people fail. Dirty water is a source of bacterial contamination that directly affects the bird's intestinal health and consequently production. Change the water at least once a day and on hot days twice. There's one point I need to be completely honest with you about here, because we don't lie to sell an illusion. There's no instant miracle. Lemon leaves aren't going to double your production overnight. What they will do is build a health foundation for your birds that will be reflected in consistent production, in birds with longer productive lifespans, fewer diseases, and fewer expenses on wormers and antibiotics. Real results come with consistency and patience, which are the two qualities that separate those who succeed in animal husbandry from those who give up in the first month without results. In the first 2 weeks, you'll notice their behavior changing. In the following 3 to 4 weeks, production starts to respond. After 2 months of regular application, you'll have concrete data in hand to compare with what you had before. And I'm certain of what that data will show. Now tell me something. Have you ever stopped to think how much money you're leaving on the table every month by not optimizing your flock's production? Every extra egg per day, multiplied by 30 days, multiplied by the price you sell them for. That's real money coming out of your coop and into your pocket. Or being thrown away because something you could solve with lemon leaves is blocking your bird's potential. I did the maths when I saw my production go up. The difference between 22 eggs a day and 30 a day, multiplied by 30 days, at the average price of free-range eggs in my region, represented a significant difference in monthly income that I was letting slip away without realizing it. And the cost of the solution? Zero. The lemon leaves were right there in my back garden. I just needed to use them. This is the kind of knowledge that changes a small operation, that changes the results for those who raise chickens in their back garden, just like it does for those with larger flocks. No matter the scale, the principle is the same. The benefit is proportional. Before wrapping up, I want to give you one more piece of advice I learned in practice, and that no manual tells you. Observe your chickens. This seems too simple to be valuable advice, but it's the most valuable one I have. Spend 10 minutes a day just observing your flock's behavior. See who's eating well, who's staying away, who has different-looking feathers, who's less active. The chicken tells you a lot before the problem ever shows up in the eggs. When you learn to read their behavior, you intervene before the problem becomes a loss. Lemon leaves are part of this observation too. When you offer them and they ignore them, it could be a sign that they're doing well and didn't feel the need, or it could be a sign that something bigger is wrong. When they fight voraciously for the leaves, that tells you their bodies are asking for those compounds. Learn to read these signs and you'll become a much better breeder, very fast. Raising animals is about that. Presence, attention, being there every day with patience, curiosity, and a desire to learn. It's not just throwing out feed and expecting results. It's building an environment where life flourishes, where birds have health, well-being, and the potential to produce what they're capable of. Did you know that the breeders who get the best results in the field aren't necessarily the ones with the most money invested? They're the ones with the most knowledge applied. And applied knowledge is exactly that, taking a simple piece of information like this about lemon leaves and putting it into practice tomorrow morning. So now, do me a favor. If this video opened your eyes to something you didn't know or confirmed something you already suspected but had never seen explained this way, leave a like. This tells me that this kind of content makes a difference for you and motivates me to keep bringing you more. Tell me in the comments, have you ever used lemon leaves or any natural plant in your operation? What was the result? I read all the comments and answer what I can, because this space is built on the experience of all of us together. Take good care of your chickens, they take good care of you. If this secret of the lemon leaves changed the way you see the potential of your back garden, subscribe to the channel and leave your like. We're revealing the practical techniques that many try to hide so that you get real results in a prosperous operation. The future of your coop starts with the knowledge you apply today. The next treasure of life in the country will be revealed soon. Until then,